to Flosstube number 7. It's been almost a month, I think, since I've last seen you. I think it's definitely about 4 weeks. And I've been back at work, so that's been busy. But I have been stitching a lot, and I've got quite a few things to show you. So welcome to those who are new. My name is Hanneke, and I use this Flosstube just to show you about my stitching. And you're very welcome to be here. For those who are returning, it's great to see you back. It's great to see the same names popping up in the comments. It's just lovely to sort of build that community together and be part of the community together. So that's very nice. And thank you for taking the time. Right, so I've got a fully finished object, and I have 2 new starts, and then I have progress on, I think, about 6 of my whips. So I don't show all my whips all the time, but I'll show the ones that I have actual progress on. And then at the end, I will also show you a few pictures of some old cross stitch that I saw in a few museums when I was visiting my parents. And I was allowed to make pictures, so I asked the owners of the museum, and they were fine with it. They were actually great. So I will show you that at the end as well. So we've got quite a few things to get through. We had a heat wave, I think, in those 4 weeks, and now we are moving more into the autumn weather. So it's rainy and a lot colder. I mean, we've gone from 30 degrees now to about 17 degrees Celsius. So, and I prefer that a lot. I don't like heat waves at all. Right, so my fully finished. I had to check my previous Flosstube because I thought it was finished at that point, and it wasn't. It was almost finished. But now it is actually finished. And at the time, my idea was to have it properly framed by a framer. So I did go down and I had them. It's one of those shops that have been there for years and years and years. And the people who are on it, I mean, they must be well in their 80s. So everything is still done relatively old-fashioned. So prices are sort of written down on a little scrap of paper. It's all it's like stepping back in time a little bit, but it's very lovely, and they are very nice and very helpful. But they did go through the price with me, and it would end up being 140 euros to frame this piece, and I felt that was quite a lot of money. So I decided to think about it for a little bit, and then I decided to see if I could make something work with a frame that I could get for about 25 euros. And so I framed it myself. It's not perfect, but I'm quite happy with it. And again, this is going to be a piece that I will show, that I will put on display in my office at work. And I think it has turned out absolutely fine. I'm very happy with the color of the frame. It's perfect for this piece, I think, anyway. And I framed it without the glass. So I did put the glass on it at first, but it is one of those glasses that sort of have a greenish color to it. And so the stitching becomes very matte and the colors get a bit weird. So I decided I didn't like that at all. So I decided to just use the frame, and instead I put some, I don't know what it's called in English. In Dutch, it's vliezeline, I think. So it's the stuff that you put in one of those bags that you make. It's just an extra cover that makes it a bit more fluffy. So I put that behind this, and so it feels a bit more fluffy. And then I just pulled it tight to the back. And the back is ugly, so I've just taped it. And then put this back on it. So I can just put it somewhere on in a windowsill or something. So I'm quite happy with this. Again, the color is perfect. When I went to the framers, maybe that was one of the reasons why I didn't want to pay 140, because I felt that the color was not entirely perfect. And when I saw this one, it's a gamble when you buy it online, isn't it? Because you never know what kind of color you're actually going to get. But it was just perfect, and I hope you can see something now because I can't. And I love this stitch. I finished this little house at the bottom in the middle. And that was just so fun to watch it all come together. Then I did all the back stitching, and I say all the back stitching, it's barely anything. So there was a little bit here, a little bit with these birds in the sand, and then all the little birds that you see everywhere. And I don't think I did all the birds according to the pattern. I think I've taken a few out because I felt there were a few too many here and there. So yeah, very happy with this piece. And this will go with me to the office on Monday. And I hope my colleagues will like it. We live close to the beach, as you know. So I hope that during the winter months, this will remind us of the lovely beach that we have nearby. Right. So that was my fully finish. And because I finished one thing, I started two. I mean, that's only logical. This first one, I have to look at my paper. This one is a Shannon Christine. You all know that I like Shannon Christine. And I've made two pillows of the patterns that I stitched from her. And I will put that here on a picture, the two pillows I made. I love those. Anyway, I saw this pattern and it's very similar. So it has a similar snowflake theme. So I thought, oh, I'll make that because that will fit in nicely. And it's called Christmas Snow Fun. And I will put it on the screen for you to see. And it's not as big as you'd think. So I started this and I thought, oh, it's going to be quite big, but it definitely isn't. I think the size will be similar to the biggest pillow I made of Shannon Christine designs, patterns that I've stitched. And I used the same fabric. I had a little piece left and I thought, and I've been telling you, that it was a 16 count. So I calculated it for a 16 count, and so it was just about going to fit. So I started in very much in the corner, and then I stitched it, and I think this must be 18, maybe even 20 count, because I have a lot of fabric left over on the side. So I could have gone more into the middle, but I think I have just enough left on this side to sew this also into a pillow that will go with the other ones. I'm sorry about this. I usually have those white background things, but I've used that for the one I've framed. So I didn't have anything to put behind my stitching, so I'm just using a paper pad. So yeah, there we are. So this is what I've started. So I've made a little Christmas tree, and I look forward to making the little snowmen. And yeah, it's just a lovely Shannon Christine pattern as they come, and I think this will fit in nicely with the ones I already have. I don't particularly like stitching white on sort of a colored background. I do find that pressing it makes it look instantly better, but it's not. There you go. So I've done the outline mostly, and now I'm just going to do the little bits here and there. It's a stitch that I don't work on regularly. It's just one that I grab when I'm tired and I want something easy, and because most of the patterns I have are quite big and they are a lot of confetti, or they are just, you just really have to focus on the pattern, whereas this one is quite a lot easier to do. So when I'm tired in the evenings, I just grab this one and stitch a little bit on it. But yeah, really enjoy it and look forward to making this into a third little pillow for my Christmas pillow basket. The next one I started is a pattern that I've been looking at for quite a while, because I think from the moment it came out, quite a lot of Etsy shops had it for sale. And I thought, oh, that is a very nice one. It's very pretty. It's from Sweet Wing Studio. And I will put a picture up for you to see. And it is called God is Good All the Time. Or is it just called God is Good? Not sure. Either one. And I think it's lovely. It's symmetrical, which is already a big win with me, as you all know. And I like the colors. However, the colors are dinky dyes, and we can't really get, maybe we can get it in the Netherlands, but I don't really know where to get it. And I have a lot of DMC anyway, so I decided to use my stash for this rather than getting all the exact right colors that I would get from an exact conversion. So I've gone with the colors that I like, and I'm still figuring that out as I go anyway. I've done the outside, so the God is good text, and I'm still wondering, because I'm currently working on the second row here, and I'm doing that with a very light pink, and I'm not sure I want to continue that. I might want to go back to the brighter green that I had, but I don't want to take everything out. So I'm still debating whether or not I should. But yeah, I might. I don't know yet. I love the outside though. It was lovely to stitch that. And this is stitched on, I think, an 18 count. But again, I've told you things before. They weren't right, so I don't know. I don't know. I won't even guess. It's a 16, 18, or 20 count. And this is one from the stash that was sent to me by the lady who sent me her sewing machine. So one of her it's not white. I think it will be antique white, or it is antique white. These pieces are so small that it's difficult to keep them on here. There you go. That is it. Very pretty. Very nice pattern. So this is also one that just is easy to work on at night. And it's quite, well, it's symmetrical, so it is quite repetitive, which is nice when you're tired. So those are my new set. I don't know for the last one what I'm going to do with it. It might be a nice pillow again, but it also might be a nice flat finish. I've seen people making flat finishes, so I might have to look into that and see if this might work for that. Right, then we move into my current whips that I've already shown you previously. So it's progress on the whips that I've been working on. So the first one I'm going to show you is the stitch that I'm making for my sister. So this is by DesignLaserArts Designs, and I bought it on their shop on Etsy. And I think I told you last time I wasn't sure, but I'm glad I continued, because this is really very pretty. So the river has been continued, and I've started a little bit on the sort of the brownish mountains that will be around it. I'll show a close-up if I can. There you go. It has really nice colors in, but as you can see in the brownish bit, again, it's quite a lot of confetti on this piece. So at first I didn't really realize that, so I had to get used to a way of working. I find this, I think, the most difficult piece to stitch on, and I didn't expect that at all. But I sort of struggle with the confetti that is quite a bit apart, so I have to pull through quite often, and I can't really find a system on where am I going to stitch. So sometimes I stitch on the brownish bit, and sometimes I stitch on the river, and then again I start sort of here. So I I just sort of work wherever. There's not much system to it, and I like a certain system, and I haven't figured that out for this one yet. But I'll get there. I do really like how it's turning out. I'm trying to get it straight. I'm still not good with looking at the screen and then realizing that I have to do the other way around in real life, but there you are. So yeah, this one will be beautiful the more I stitch on it. And I think recently I just grabbed it for 2 nights in a row, so then easily I have about 600 stitches in total added to it. So that goes quite quickly. And as I said, the colors are very nice, very natural, obviously. Yeah, very pretty. Let me just put my water somewhere else before everything is a lot of water. Right, the next one is a Lanarte kit that I've started working on, and this one is called River Village. Sorry, I had to check that because it is sort of written inside. It's this one, and I think this is lovely. It's lovely. And so the middle bit is stitched, and then this around it is printed onto the fabric, and the fabric is an even weave. And I think I said 24 count. It can't be a 24 count. I think it's like the equivalent of a 14 count Aida, so that will be a 28 count. And I've done quite a lot. So I've done a lot of the water, and the water is stitched with one thread. So that's where we are at the moment, or where I am at the moment. And I really like the way the water is coming out. So I think I'm just going to continue all the way to the end. I'm already at the end. This is sort of where it stops. So it's just this little bit of water left. So I'm going to continue that, and then I will start working on the houses that are above it and the boats. I think there's a boat as well. Yeah. So for now, this is what I'll focus on. I do like the colors again on this one. They're very different, but they're very nice. And I do like stitching with one strand. And it's weird because usually you would think the coverage would be not great, and it isn't, let's be honest. But that is the effect you like for the water, so it works on this pattern. So there you are. And I still really like the print around it, and then the way it sort of molds together. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. I do grab it more than I thought I would. Yeah. I do look forward to continuing with the actual picture. Like the water is, I've sort of done this bit, and I still have to do this side. But I really look forward to making this house because I think that's just a lovely house. It's not big at all. It's just with a few stitches, they've made such an intricate house. So yeah, I look forward to making that one. It's very pretty. Anyway, we're not there yet, so I have a bit more stitching to do. But I have found out, because I know there are some people who stitch to finish things. I'm not one of those. I find that I really love the process. And then when something is finished, with some of these, I'll be quite happy to put it in a drawer. And I know I shouldn't because I've worked on it for so long. But I like the process of stitching more than I like the finishing of the stitching. I'm usually sad when I finish a stitch, because that means I can't work on it anymore. So it's good that I have more projects now and that I can prolong the time I work on one specific stitch. So the next one is one that I have been working on every Sunday. And with this stitch, I am moving towards the end. I'm currently exactly at 2/3. And that is Farben des Wassers by Historical Stickmuster. And this is stitched on 20 count Aida. And I stitch it with the Soie d'Alger thread, and I use one thread. And this is just so pretty. I say that every time I show this, but it's not just pretty, it's also lovely to work on, and the thread is very nice, and the fabric is nice, and it all just comes together very well. So I only have 2 more rows to do here, so that's 12 more squares. And the 4 squares I have done. I think I have 1 strand of each color, or 1 skein, sorry, 1 skein of each color. And I think the pattern asks for a few to have 2 skeins. I think the only skein I might not be able to manage with 1 is that color, so the dark gray. Because, yeah, I've used it quite a lot already. And I think it is due again here. So, yeah, I'll have to, I might have to reorder that. And I might reorder that at the same time as colors for the spring one that I will make after this one. I already have the fabric. I've had the fabric for quite a while, and I ordered the pattern at the same time I ordered this one. So I might order all of that in the same time. But yeah, I love this. So that's only 12 more weekends, because I make about a square every weekend. So I figured, and my mum shouldn't hear this, but she will be watching this. I think I'll finish this around Christmas time, so it will be a nice Christmas present. So yeah, very pretty, very, very nice pattern. And then I also have my lilacs to show you. Now the last time, my last Flosstube, I didn't show my lilacs, even though I had a little bit of progress. So I did have some more progress, and I figured it'd be nice to show you. So this is my lilacs. It's from Magic Needle, sorry. And this kit comes with 14 count Aida, and I've switched that to 16 count Aida. And it is a lovely, lovely kit. I've looked at more Magic Needles kits. Haven't bought one yet, but I do really like this one. So my progress, I think, has been quite good. So I finished this, last time I showed you, this was sort of half finished. So I finished this and then sort of worked on the diagonal. So I've added this, stitched in here, and then added some more leaves around there. So this is really moving along nicely. Is it a vase or a pot? I'm not sure. I think it's a vase, because it's meant to be glass, I think. So yeah, I really, really enjoy this. I don't stitch on this that often. I think that has to do with the fact that this is not in Pattern Keeper, but an old-fashioned pattern. And it's quite difficult to keep track when you're stitching. And I know I can try to get it into Pattern Keeper, but I haven't yet. And it's sort of something says to me, well, all these women have done it for years and years and years with paper patterns, so I should still be able to do that. So I think, and some of you were watching thinking, I've done paper patterns for years, so yeah, I really do like it. I like the fact that this is sort of filling up, and it's becoming it's coming together. Let's say it like that. And this beautiful, just lovely pattern. And it looks very lifelike. I might stitch on this later today, actually. I haven't stitched on this for a while, but I'm looking at it thinking, ooh, I might want to do some work on this. Yeah, it's lovely. Absolutely lovely. Right, and then we have my 2 full coverages left. And I will start with my Heaven and Earth designs. So I started a Heaven and Earth designs, as you all know. And those who are new, this is my first Heaven and Earth designs. And I really enjoy it. It's a really enjoyable stitch. So I stitched this on a 20 count Ada. And I stitched 2 strands of floss. And I do find that in the Facebook group of Heaven and Earth designs, people often ask questions about is 2 strands, isn't that too bulky or whatever? And I thought it would be, but I do find that it actually gives a very thick coverage. And I think that will be absolutely beautiful for this specific piece. And I will put the piece on the screen for you to see. It is 700 by 700, so it is very big. But it has beautiful colors, and it has a bit of the sea in it. It has pink flowers, and it has beautiful colors. So it is the perfect pattern in my humble view. So I have done quite a lot on it because I thought I would do about 1,000 stitches a month. And instead, is it the 23rd today? Might be. Anyway, it nearly is. And I've done over 5,000. Now, the first week I did about 2,000 during my holidays still. So I can't really count that. But so I've done about 3,000 stitches whilst I've been working. So I was very surprised. I didn't think I would be able to do that. And very happy as well, because even if I do it like this, it will take me years and years. And this is where I am currently. So you can really see the mountains showing up. And I have still quite a while of blues to go until I get to the first roses. I think the first color, different color that's coming in will be roses. But yeah, color wise, sort of this color, the skein is nearly finished already. So I'm moving to another one. Same for this color, it's going really quickly. But I love this piece. It's so, I didn't think it would look like something so quickly, but you can really see the mountains coming alive in here. I will show a close up. I started doing squares, so 10 by 10. You can still see it a little bit here. You can see the lines there. Then I thought I'll go onto the diagonal. You can see a bit of the diagonal as well. And then I sort of I just do whatever. Basically, I find that like here, this is a lot of the same color that just has to continue. I might continue doing the diagonal. But like with the yellow, yellowish color, it was easier just to finish the color. So I'm just doing whatever, really. But I really like it. It's very, very pretty. And so 5,000 stitches already done, well, and even over 5,000. So I was, yeah, positively surprised by that progress. And I do love it. I do love stitching on it in the evenings. I don't stitch on it as much in the mornings. I don't stitch much in the mornings at the moment anyway. I do find that getting back into the rhythm of work has been challenging, but maybe that's also because it's been quite hot. So I don't sleep as well when it's hot. But I do stitch quite a lot in the evenings, and I love my daylight lamp because that is really helping me. So then the last one I'm going to show you is the one I'm most proud of this time, because it is the Night Aura, I think it is called, or Pretty Night. And it is a design by Artisy. It is a mini full coverage, and I have done a lot of work on this. I was trying to get to 50%. I think I made it to about 84.9%, which is nearly there. And I'm going to say it counts. It's good enough. Let me just pop this up for you properly. So there we are. Now working on this is a joy. It's always a joy. It has so many lovely, lovely colors in, and it all comes together beautifully. So last time I showed you, the lady was sort of just stitched in, and I still had sort of this area to go. So I've stitched all of that, and it's just so lovely to watch it come alive like this. All the blues. I mean, those are some vibrant colors there. I made one little mistake, which annoyed me. So in this pillar, I added a row extra. So above here, it didn't work out. So I did a bit of fudging. I didn't take out anything. I fudged it a little bit and decided that with the amount of confetti, no one's going to see it. But yeah, I was a bit annoyed with myself. And this is beautiful, isn't it? The colors just sort of meld or bleed together. And that blue behind that orange area is just beautiful. Yeah, love this. Love this. So I've done a lot of stitching on this. And this one is stitched on 19 count. No, sorry, that doesn't exist. 16 count Ada. And it's 2 strands of floss. And it's all DMC. So very, very happy with the progress on this one. I was already thinking I might have to start another one when this one is finished, just because I like the way the colors work. I think that's the best part of this pattern. Right, that's all my updates. So I've done quite a lot of stitching, even though I've been back at work. I think I've done quite good. Moves me back to my holidays, and I just have to check on my phone because the pictures are on my phone. And if I'm going to talk about these pictures, I have to see them. So my mum and I, it will be a bit of a story. My mum and I went to Borth, which is a stately home in Groningen. And it is sort of reinstated into its full glory. So they have different rooms that you can view. So there's a sitting room and there's a kitchen and there's a bedroom. So they have different rooms that you can view, and they put all this stuff back as it would have been years ago, although they have added furniture and stuff from other stately homes in Groningen that no longer exist. So I liked that element because that means that those homes that have not been able to survive are still sort of remembered there in Borth. And I will put a picture up here. So it has a beautiful garden as well. And it was a lovely visit, a lovely day out. And when we walked in, the first room on our right hand side was sort of a sitting room for ladies. And they had quite a big stand, cross stitch stand, with a piece of cross stitch on it. And I couldn't see it properly because there was only a little area that you could sort of stand and sort of look around. And you're not allowed to go behind the barriers, obviously. So I asked the people who were there if I was allowed to make a picture of it because I'm doing a Flosstube. And they said, of course, please do make a picture. So they were kind enough to take all the alarms down and I could go behind the barriers, which again was such a kind thing to do. So I could make a proper close-up picture of this piece. And I will put the picture right here. Now this piece, and again I have to look at it on my phone, as I talk about it, I don't know when it was stitched, and the lady who was there didn't know either. But the home is from many years ago, and I will look that up and put that on the screen from when that home, that house was built and lived in. And so this stitch is obviously on linen, and it has a lot of beading. I don't think you can see that properly, but the whole sort of border that isn't around the edge, but sort of in the middle border, is beading. And it was just beautiful and so intricate. And I really, really like the middle bit. I would love to stitch that. So yeah, and this piece was just, and it was very big. That was the other thing that really showed. It was a very big piece. So again, I don't know who stitched it. I don't know if there is a pattern or whether someone just made this. I have no idea. But I think this is very beautiful, and it deserves to be seen. So if you're ever in Groningen, this is a very lovely place to visit and see a bit of the history of Groningen. Then my mum and I went to actually two other museums. We also went to an open air museum in Waffen, which has a lot of little houses that have been completely reinstated to how they were many years ago. And all these different houses from different times had cross stitch on the wall. I hadn't asked that if I could make pictures of it, so I didn't feel comfortable doing that. But they did have quite a few pieces that were beautiful. So if you're ever nearby, and it's not just, don't just go for the cross stitch. I mean, go for the history as well. It was a lovely museum. And then we went another lovely little museum in Delfzijl, which is also in the province of Groningen. It was a very small museum. It was like a regular house that was sort of transformed into a museum by this lovely lady who I think she did it by herself or with a husband. I'm not entirely sure, but they had collected stuff from years and years and years, and it was really very full. Basically, wherever you looked, it was just so much stuff. But she focused very much on the old way people dressed in the Netherlands. So I will try to find some pictures online on how people used to dress. So often it was like a black dress with different kinds of lace or stitching or fabric, depending on in which area you lived. And they would have different kinds of headwear and so on. And she would have different dress from different areas in the Netherlands. Absolutely beautiful. She also had clothes from babies and when they were baptized. I think she had a specific focus on that when we were there. So she had just so much stuff that it was just beautiful. And then she had a lovely big table when you just came in, and it had all these beautiful pieces of lace in it that were made by a lady who I believe always taught at the school in the olden days. Girls would often go to school, they would learn to do all this work, and she would used to teach there. And so they showed all the pieces she made. It was just beautiful. I didn't make a picture of that, but I did find something upstairs. So I went downstairs and asked the lady if I could make a picture of that. And she said, of course you can. So I made a picture, and I'm just looking up on my phone. So this is the picture I would like to show you. This is from 1825. And this is part of the clothing that women would wear. So this was stitched. And I think this is sort of the on the chest. And this is just beautiful. We don't wear intricate clothes like this anymore, but isn't it beautiful that people would make this and then be able to wear this? I think it's just gorgeous, and it's a beautiful pattern. If there was actually a pattern of this, I might want to stitch it. But yeah, so this was just a beautiful piece, and well preserved as well. And then she had another piece, which I think is also from the 1800s. I just have to check on my phone. I'm sorry. 1868 this was made, and this was also part of clothing that people wore, sorry. Again, very beautiful, very intricate. So she had much more than just this. I'm just showing these two pieces because I loved these. But there was much more than just this. Again, there was lace. There was just a bit of history. There was a bit of crochet. She also had a few crochet pieces. So yeah, she had so much that was worth looking at. So should you ever be in Groningen and you want to look at a museum that has a lot to do with fabric and needlework, this is a perfect museum to go to, and I will put it on the screen. It's in Dutch, obviously, but you can put this in Google and you will find it. So yeah, it's really, really worth it. You can see this was upstairs, so it's all the clothing of birth, basically, after people gave birth. So yeah, that was a lovely visit. This was the specific exposition that we've seen, which was clothing for kids when they were baptized. And this was just beautiful crochet. I think it's crochet, might be knitting. I'm not that good, but it was something with wool. Yeah, beautiful. So that's where my mum and I have been, and we've really enjoyed it. So should you ever be in Groningen, there is lots to see in Groningen that is actually worth seeing. Right. I think that's it today. I've shown you my progress, and I have shared with you a bit from my holidays. My plans, I don't have many plans. I just enjoy my time stitching, and I'll see whatever I work on. I'm quite easy on that. I just stitch whatever. I have a few pieces that I've shown you previously that I have completely kitted up, so I might start them at some point and I might not. I might just continue with the pieces I'm currently working on. I know quite a lot of you have all these plans, and you have these words where you use the letters and then you pick the right piece to go with it. I don't have any of that. I just sit down after my day of work and I think, which one do I like? Do I want to work on? And that's what I do. So yeah, there's not much thinking behind it. I just grab what I want. But I like it that way. There shouldn't be any pressure. It should just be fun. At least that's what I think about it. And there's a few pieces I have my eye on, so I might do a bit of shopping. I haven't done any shopping over the past month. I think usually when I'm back at work, I don't shop as much because, yeah, busy. But I've looked at a few. I've looked at a Thea Gouverneur. I think she's a Dutch designer, and she has a few flowers on a black canvas, a black Ader. So I'll put it on the screen here. So I might have a look at that. I'm not very sharp, am I? My camera is not really focusing well. Let me just see if I can clean it. No, it's not. Oh, there it comes. So Thea Gouverneur, I might have a look into that one because I really like that one. And other than that, I don't have many things I wanna buy. I think I have plenty to work on, so I will do that. I wish all of you a lovely month. I hope you get to do a lot of stitching, and life is good to you. And then I hope to see you again in a couple of weeks. Thank you.